Nintendo 64 Funtime.
Hey guys, welcome back to Nintendo 64 Funtime. So, obviously sometimes I don't have very much time to shoot a video. I actually didn't have very much time to play a game today, so I wanted to just share kind of my nostalgia trip with you guys. And like I said in a previous video, a lot of the times I do these videos, it's because I have such, connection, such nostalgia towards all of this stuff. I love video games. It takes me back to when I was a kid and I was playing these games with my friends and just really enjoying this stuff. That's why I appreciate a lot of these retro games now, like I know a lot of you guys do. But one of the things that's kind of near and dear to me that I wanted to talk about, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I actually kind of was reintroduced to this stuff on a trip. And one of them was comics. Not necessarily comics, like the magazine comics, but actual comic strips. I know comic books themselves are kind of coming back a little bit more, and more and more people are getting into them. Graphic novels and stuff are getting really good again, and I've been reading a bunch of those. But as far as like comic strips goes, I used to get the books as well, and I used to love them and go in the Sunday paper. I mean, who gets the paper anymore? That's probably why nobody really reads comic strips anymore. But the things I'm talking about are things like the Far Side Gallery. I don't know how much I can show you guys without kind of getting in trouble with like copyright stuff, but Far Side Gallery was basically just one picture and then a caption, and there was only one in the paper, and they were so funny. They were very much a little bit more adultish. And then what they would do is they would, after there was enough of them, they'd put them in like a compilation like this, and you'd have a book and you could buy them. Far Side was very funny. My sister enjoyed Far Side, and these are actually her books that I kind of stole from her. But what I really liked is I loved Calvin and Hobbes. I have every single Calvin and Hobbes book, and I have a lot of the extra books. See, I got a huge stack right here I gotta kind of dig through, but I have the kind of the compilation books. And what I liked about these bigger ones is a lot of these there we go, were in color. They would be rewritten into color. And Lazy Sunday book, I always liked this one because this one is nothing but color panels, so that was kind of cool. I want to say Calvin and Hobbes was black and white, like this, and then every Sunday the Calvin and Hobbes would be every Sunday that it would be color. So I don't know. I loved the comic strips, and I still go back and kind of go through these, but Calvin and Hobbes is obviously the one that I have the most of. I believe Bill Watterson passed away a handful of years ago. I'm not 100% sure on that. I probably should have looked that up before, but here's a bunch more books that I have with Calvin and Hobbes. And I think that was a pretty popular one when I was a kid. A lot of people actually read Calvin and Hobbes. But another one that I really enjoyed was Foxtrot. To this day, I think Foxtrot is probably hands down the funniest comic strip that I've ever read. And I have a lot of these big compilation books. I want to say these have 3 of the smaller books in them, and every now and again there's a color cartoon. But what was cool about Foxtrot and Calvin and Hobbes and stuff was you would get one small strip, every day, and as you read them, it would kind of piece together a story. And if you didn't get the paper every day, you couldn't really piece together that story. But when you have these compilations, you can read through and everything flows really well, and the story kind of makes sense, and like panel by panel you put this story together. And I think it's kind of a very cool thing. And I don't know if comic strips are really going to ever make it back to their heyday. like I said, I kind of will sneak a Sunday paper every now and again and read through the comic strip, but none of them really catch my attention as much as these ones did. Maybe it's because I'm not necessarily a kid anymore. They have some adult ones as well. I think Close to Home is still going on. That one's been forever in the paper, and I know that that one I think is still going on. Another one that I really, really enjoyed, and I think you know, most of you guys too, was the Peanuts. I love Peanuts. And then another one that was really funny, and I lost all of my books. I had so many. They were the small books, but Garfield. Garfield, the comic strip, was so funny. I really, 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 really enjoyed that one as well. So yeah, I kind of found these books and just wanted to share it with you, and maybe remind you of comic strips kind of in their heyday when I was a kid, and how much I really enjoyed them. Foxtrot and Calvin and Hobbes especially. I have way too many books now, but hopefully my daughter can enjoy them another time. So I got a big old stack of those bad boys. Another thing that I wanted to show you is, if we're going on a nostalgia trip here, you ever have that like Christmas present that sticks with you and is probably the best Christmas present you ever got? I've been playing a lot of Game Boy games, and I thought to myself, my first Game Boy probably was pretty close to being the best present I ever got as a kid. But I think it was expected, and I don't know if that takes away from it a little bit, but I think I was expecting to get the Game Boy, so when I got it, it wasn't necessarily a huge surprise. But when I was a kid, there was another thing that was really popular that everybody was going for, and that was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. When they were in their heyday, it was absolutely crazy. Like literally, that was the show that you would try to watch every day when I was a kid. You'd go and you'd watch it, and it was a thing, and everybody watched Power Rangers. And then obviously with show popularity comes merchandise, and one of the things that I got Christmas morning, that I honestly can say I never knew anybody else who had one of these, is I got a Megazord. And this is the original one. I wish I still had the box, but what do you do when you have a box when you're a kid? You chuck it out, you know, and you're left with the toy. But I've had this thing, you know, since it came out, and I think there's been re-releases of the Megazord toy, but this is the original one, and I still have most of the pieces for it. I think the pterodactyl lost a wing and stuff like that, but let me just kind of tear this apart and see. So licensed by Bandai, 1991. 1991 this came out, so I would have been 5 years old. But you know, and it's really well made. I mean, obviously it's plastic, but you know, everything still works. It snaps and stuff like that. You know, the pieces all work, and you know, you have all these toys and they all snap together and stuff like that. But it's just, this to me, I think, was probably one of the greatest presents that I ever had as a kid. And I knew somebody who had the Megazord, and then I knew somebody who had the white, I don't know, brachiosaur thing. I don't remember what they called that, but the Megazord would like kind of sit in it. See, I lost one of the pterodactyl's wings, but she's still got one of them. And all of the markings and stuff, the stickers you see here, you had to put the stickers on. And I remember I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to screw it up, so I made my parents do it. And I swear to you, I think it took them almost all Christmas morning to get these stupid stickers on all of these. And they go together and piece together and move just like they did in the TV show, and then they go back together to make the Megazord. So yeah, I don't know, that kind of a weird video, but these are things that I'm extremely nostalgic for, and that's why I keep this stuff around and kind of keep it back here so you guys can enjoy it with me. But yeah, let me move my camera down so you can kind of see them all. in a line here. But yeah, pretty awesome. I love it. And like I said, that's why I keep it behind me. But there you go, little nostalgic trip for me. Comic strips, Power Rangers Megazord, 1991. That's so old. But there you go, I guess I'm old too. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get a little nostalgia out of it too. Nintendo 64 Funtime. Always be gaming.